Welcome everyone to Cinema Regulars, the movie review show where we see so many movies in theaters that the employees know us by name and they don't ask us what movies we're seeing, they ask us how many. Now, today, before we get rolling into that, we want to give a brief shout out because we were at a convention a few weekends ago and we got these stellar rocks glasses. It's a bit hard to see, but we'll throw up images on screen with our little popcorn and clapper logos etched into the glass. And that's super cool. So that came to us from Umbreon Girls Creations. Check them out for all your engraved glasses and anything else that they might have. They are super cool and they really came in clutch with these glasses. They are phenomenal. Thank you guys so much. Anyways, we are today looking at three brand new movies, and they are from the summer, Isaac, so they are big, heavy hitters. We are
Oh
some
yeah, these movies have been
popular,
advertised to hell and back.
popular movies on the ticket today. We will be looking at Despicable Me 4. We will be looking at Maxxxine. And finally, we'll be wrapping it up with the newest horror movie from our boy Nicolas Cage. We got Longlegs. Hell yeah. So
Absolutely. That movie has been on our radar for over a year.
Yeah, we've been trying to limit ourselves from our knowledge from the movie because it looked really interesting and we kind of wanted to go into it as blind as possible, and I think we did kind of pull that off.
We did.
Anyway,
Absolutely.
if you guys aren't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. We are on our way to getting these videos monetized, and we will use any money we get from these videos to buy more movie tickets to make more videos. So thank you very much. Please consider that. And without further ado, Isaac, let us roll straight into Despicable Me 4. Take it away.
So Despicable Me 4, obviously fourth movie in this franchise, is described as Gru welcomes a new member to the family, Gru Jr., who's intent on tormenting his dad. However, their peaceful existence soon comes crashing down when criminal mastermind Maxime Lamal escapes from prison and vows revenge against Gru.
All right.
Like, that is what happened in the movie. That is true.
Yeah, I
They
mean,
said a true thing.
if you looked at my webcam, you saw me. I kind of went. I went, what? Because yeah, they got a baby now. But like, I don't know. That's another thing I'll touch on when we get to that point. But my biggest takeaway from this is that it was really busy.
There was so much going on.
It was trying to juggle so many plot points because plot point A, fucking the bad guy coming after Gru, right? Plot point B is Gru and his wife and the daughters are trying to acclimate to their new, like their secret life here. Like the cover identities. They're trying to acclimate to their new lives here. Third plot is the neighbor girl who's wants to be a villain and blackmails Gru into doing a thing. Fourth plot, you got the minions going on with their super mega ultra minion project. And then like the fifth plot or something, you got Gru messing with the baby and everything the baby's doing like that. I'm just like, guys, iCarly only had 2 plots go at any given time, bro.
Yeah, you had the iCarly and you had the iCarly plot, and then you had the Spencer plot.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. And I just use that as like an example of like A and B plots and like multiple storylines going on at the time. Exactly. I didn't even realize fucking iCarly's in the movie, dude. I forgot about that.
She is. Miranda Cosgrove is in this movie.
No, she's in all of the movies.
She is. I really like the Despicable Me franchise. Like, I like all 3 movies, like the first 3 movies. The third one gets a little like. The third one is where it starts to get a little. All right, okay, this is like we're kind of stagnating at this point. But like, I really enjoyed the first 2 movies. I thought they were a lot of fun.
Yeah, I thought the first 2 were good. Minions movie's
the
bad.
yeah, we don't need the Minions movies. I haven't watched the Gentle Minions yet. So or Gru Rise of the Minions or whatever the
Rise
heck
the
it was called.
Gru, dude. Come
Rise of
on,
Gru, yeah.
fake fan, you guys, fake fan.
I didn't watch that one at all, but so
Isaac,
I
you're
can't
just a
really judge it.
wannabe minion head.
Oh shoot.
Wannabe minion head. He don't even know.
How do you know about my yellow face paint?
Oh, now Isaac's doing yellow face, guys. Can't believe this guy. Right. So I'll give credit where credit is due. I did find this at the very least entertaining.
Oh yeah, this was definitely an entertaining movie. Like
I had
it
an
was.
okay time. This was not like abysmal to watch like a lot of these other movies were. Kung Fu Panda's 4th installment this year was a travesty, a train wreck, and
Yeah,
I
it
was just
was.
disappointed in the whole franchise for stooping to this low. But I kind of feel like Despicable Me is it's that kind of franchise where if they went on for like 12 movies, you'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, like
They
you
do
could
that.
see it.
Because altogether, Minions and Despicable Me, there's 6 movies right now. Not to mention all the mini movies that they have in there, whatever TV show they have, probably. Now, that's more of a DreamWorks thing where they make a TV show for every movie, despite nobody watching the movie.
Yeah.
Honest.
Oh, sorry,
go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no,
No.
I really thought that this was a very entertaining 4th installment. Like it wasn't a huge one. I think the ending was extremely ham-fisted, in my opinion. Like the villain's motivation, like the thing you find out the villain's motivation for hating Gru is just that the villain's motivation for hating Gru is that he stole his act for the Bad Boy School's talent show.
Yeah.
And what's even funny is like at the beginning, you don't even know if that was like intentional. Like it is revealed eventually that it was intentional. He did actually do it.
Like I found out what song you were gonna do, and then I did that before you. Got him.
Yeah, but like, it was still really like stupid, and the fact that it's like, oh yeah, this international super criminal, like, yeah, he's a bad guy, but we're gonna let him have his.
Mad about the fucking 3rd grade talent show.
We're gonna let him have his moment in this prison, and he can see it, whose act actually was better for the same song. They just recreate it in the middle of this prison, which brings me to the ham-fisted part. They threw literally every reference from every single like movie in this franchise into that ending. Like
Yeah,
they
all
had
the
all the
Despicable Me
villains.
villains, all the Minions villains were there.
Yeah, you had, and then like at the house you had the brother who was not at all present in this movie, like none whatsoever.
He had a cameo at the end. Yeah,
I would have loved. I actually would have loved
in a
because
different country. What did you want him to be? What you wanted to do?
You saw the 3rd one. You watched the 3rd one.
I did.
I actually would have liked a story of like them trying to actually hunt down his brother, like catch his brother. Like I actually would have enjoyed that because that seems what the kind of like what they were setting up at the end of 3. Like his brother is is a known criminal now, and he's still just hanging out with him at a barbecue.
Yeah, it's his brother.
Well, yeah, but he's still a villain, and he works for the Anti-Villain League.
Yeah. Hey, did you not see the end credit scene? Or not the end credit scene, but like the credits montage where they were doing all goofing gags and stuff? Look, dude, I wasn't even gonna see Despicable Me 3. I had no interest in watching that. I was just gonna pass it up. But you neglected to tell me that within the first 5 minutes there was Australian bikini babes, and like that's all you needed to say. And then on
Okay.
top of that, what held my attention through the movie is the bad guy is fucking Stan and the dad from South Park. How dare you
Yeah.
not mention that to me?
Actually, I didn't know that he was Stan. Yeah, I just found that out just now. I did not know that.
Yeah, it was Trey Parker who voiced the villain in that. That was
Yeah.
it was literally the funny. It's like, ha, it's Randy.
But no, like
That was the
I
most
feel like
entertaining part about that movie.
I feel like of the 3 movies, I will say this does feel like the weakest.
Oh yeah, definitely, most definitely. They
Like
were
the
they
fact
were
that there's no
juggling a lot.
clear yeah, there's no at least in the other 3 movies, there's one clear objective. Like the first
Mhm.
one is Vector is the guy. He's the op. In the second one, you have the dude, I forget his name now.
El Macho.
El El Macho. Yeah. He was the op. And in the third one, you
He
had
was the
Balthazar Brett. You had a clear and present villain and a clear and present goal through the whole movie. And the fact that the
Mhm.
premise of this movie is that they can't be detected, it's like the complete opposite of the other 3. Because the other 3 are they are trying to get to achieve an objective. This one is just stay put.
Yeah.
That's the
So
eventual theme of this movie.
which leads to the lull in it, and why I think they tried to squeeze so much into it is because like there's no like, oh, get the bad guy, hunt the bad guy down. It's like you're in hiding from the bad guy. It's like, okay, so that leaves a lull in action. So what are they gonna do?
Mhm.
They're gonna do haha bad guy trying to find them. They're gonna do haha Gru try to do normal people stuff. They're gonna
Yeah.
do haha minions for the kids. That's
Mhm.
that's the whole purpose of the minion storyline, is because there's gonna be the 3-year-olds who aren't able to grasp the
The
concept
concept of the movie.
of witness protection. So they're just like, what? Stretchy minion?
I do
Look
have to
at him.
say, yeah, while it was busy and like while again the villain wasn't like yeah, he was clear and present through the movie, but like not really a whole lot. Like I actually
No,
really
no,
liked
he had no time. He had no time. He
he
did
really
jack
didn't.
shit the whole movie.
My my favorite my favorite thing about him though is I like his gimmick. Like his whole thing is that
Cockroach?
he's the fact that he's just well, the fact that he's obsessed with like he's just a funny little
Isaac,
he's just a villain
don't
who's obsessed with
ever give up on the sentence halfway through the word cockroach, Isaac.
Sorry. His whole thing about
Guys,
cockroaches is that his whole thing about cockroaches is that they're like he's fascinated with them because they're, very notoriously like at least in animation the whole thing of like they're indestructible, they can't be killed, blah blah blah. Like I like that. I thought that was cool and
did we
like
not have a
how
Ben 10 episode with that exact premise? Come on, Despicable Me.
I mean it's also monsters versus aliens.
It's true.
Like it's literally just the reverse of that. Like dude has cockroach body and normal head instead of cockroach head and normal body.
They turned his son into a bugoid, and then they were just like,
Yeah, that was actually
waste.
disturbing. Like, yeah, he
Yeah.
was a little adorable, but like that was actually genuinely like imagine I get it, Gru like if they're villains and weird shit happens.
Mm.
Man turned this guy's son into a bug. Like
He
that's
did.
traumatizing as shit.
And then they thought out
Like
Dr. Nefario for a full 4 seconds to turn him back into a real boy again.
yeah, that was the other thing is again they just kind of I'm hoping that because of all the cameos that means that this is where they're leaving it and they're not going to try and
Mhm.
stretch this into 50 more movies.
No, yeah, this definitely should be the end.
I can almost guarantee you they're still going to do minion shit, but that's more for like
Oh,
kids and
of
TV
course,
shows and
there's
stuff
gonna
like that.
be more fucking
I
Minion
mean,
movies,
Illumination
obviously.
ever since like the first Despicable Me movie hit it really big, Illumination has heavily like the Minions are a part of every Illumination logo in every movie.
Exactly. They're literally up there. They're literally like
Like
the
the
face
movie
of the
doesn't even
whole
need to
brand.
exactly. They don't even need to have anything to do with Despicable Me. Like what was the Migration? Migration is also Illumination, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Like during the
very good.
tagline for that, like they had the ducks, but the minions showed up as well. Like
They didn't have the ducks. The minions were playing the Illuminate or they were playing the Universal Studios song on kazoo. They
mm,
said Illumination and then they went into the movie. They just
right.
do that. The minions do every single one. The minions were in the Lorax. They were in Hop. They were in
Yeah.
every single Illumination animation.
Like literally ever since Despicable
Probably in
Me hit it
Sing. I
big.
never watched Sing or Sing 2 because I
That one I don't
like good
know. I
films.
don't know about the original
But
Sing. Hey, the original Sing is a decent film.
he gonna lie to my face, you guys.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are. Now
No,
he's
I am
double
not.
lying. Triple lie.
I quite like that movie. That movie is actually a lot of fun. Did you get to
Quadruple
hear Dude, you get to hear
lie.
Seth MacFarlane sing
Right to my
Frank
face.
Sinatra.
He does
Like
that in every dude, he
I
Family
am now
Guy.
realizing he did that in Family Guy.
Na na
I
na
forgot
na
about that
na na
episode.
na na.
I may have put a little bit too much rum in this drink.
You need to calm down. Okay.
All right.
So
But back into the. But honestly, I don't really have much else to say about this movie. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna be
yeah,
perfectly honest with you.
it's not great. Definitely the weakest in the series, but if I have to give it one positive thing, I'm nothing but fair, okay? Double Life by Pharrell Williams that they wrote for this movie
Oh
goes
yeah,
fucking hard. I cannot
that
explain
opening
to
scene
you.
was so good.
And the end credit scene, they use it like
Mhm.
3 times, I think, in the movie, and I cannot
It's a good song.
I can't even tell you the number of times where I've just put that song on loop and just played that shit. It's fucking good, man.
It is. It's a
It's a
really good
good
song.
song. It's a good ass song. Oh,
I
what was
believe
the
Pharrell has
fucking
been a part
okay?
of like all of them. 'Cause
He
Pharrell,
was
he did Despicable Me for the
was
first
he
movie.
all of them? He
Yeah,
did, yeah.
he did Despicable Me for the first one. Happy came out for 2,
Did it?
and I believe so. Yes, I believe Happy was written for Despicable Me.
Written for me too. That's
It was either
crazy.
written for it or it was just used in it.
It was definitely out before, but he had minions in the
Then it
music
was
video, so I thought it was
yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. Happy was tied in with Despicable Me too. I don't know what he would have done in the other ones too much, but like I know he was involved in the first two. So like,
Yeah.
it's really cool that he stuck with the series. Like he's the artist for the series. That's kind of cool.
Mhm. Yeah, just contracted a guy to just as your go-to for any of the movies. That's pretty cool.
That
Um,
is cool.
last question before we wrap up things here, and I won't take any other lies or
Mhm.
dodging as an answer here. So I want it fucking in writing right now, Isaac. Answer the damn question.
I'll have a
No more
pen.
dodging. You've been running from this question since the trailer came out. Who is your favorite Mega Minion? You gotta answer it. The people are dying to know.
I gotta say, it's probably the crunchy one.
The crunchy. I like the crunchy one too. I
I
like his
started it
vibe,
and
dude.
I wanted it to be like I kind of liked the big giant one at first, like
The
the
big
big like
buff
the
one.
strong one. Yeah, the
Yeah.
strong one was kind of funny. I kind of liked him.
I'm sad because I
The
know
laser
all their
one
names.
yeah.
I know all
They
their
I don't think they
names.
were given names. You know all their names?
I know all their names.
What are their names?
So the big strong one, that's Mega Minion Dave, clearly. That was on the t-shirt.
Okay.
That was in the trailer, of course.
Okay.
You got Mega Minion Mel as the laser one. That was the one in the third movie who had the fucking terrible
I remember
haircut.
Mel. I remember Mel.
Yeah, he was the laser one. You got Mega Minion Gus. That's the one with the little curl and he can fly. You got
Okay.
Mega Minion Jerry. That's the
Mhm.
crunchy one.
Okay.
Um, and then I'm blanking on the squiggly one.
Is
Mike?
that not Larry?
Mike. No, not Larry.
Oh no,
Right.
Larry's one of the ones in Minions. But
Tim. It's Tim. Mega
him.
Minion Tim.
But
And
no,
then
I like the roly poly one. He's the crunchy one.
you like the crunchy one. I thought the crunchy one like I saw the trailer and like the thumbnail was the crunchy one and I'm just like what the fuck is that?
That's the
Like
thing. That's just
I
the
thought it
thing.
was AI. I thought it was AI at first. I'm just like, what is this nonsense? Because you when you're looking for like trailers on YouTube and they'll have like the shitty fake ass trailers where
Yeah,
they
yeah, yeah,
just like
yeah, yeah.
cobble together all this bullshit and it's just like that's
Like they
one of those. But
they
it's
take clips from 50 million movies.
right. So I thought it was gonna be something like that where it's just like, oh, AI minion, but I was like, no, that's real. I'm like, oh god. But then I was like, no, he's like the thing, and then he eats stuff. It's crunchy. I like him. But then in the movie,
And
actually,
he commutes by rolling.
yeah, and then in the movie, I liked him. He did a Spider-Man reference, and I liked
He
that.
did. That was
Stopped
cool.
the train. He stopped the
I
train with his
liked
little
the
squiggly
idea.
arms.
I like the idea that if Spider-Man hadn't let go
He was just like
at the
fucking
end,
sprinded the train back.
it would have just fucking launched the train in the other direction. Like that's actually a funny there's a funny twist that they did on that scene. It was really good.
It's true.
But no, this was a this is an okay decent movie. I don't really have much else to say about. Oh, I have one negative thing about this movie.
Oh, one,
Besides the ham-fisted besides the ham-fisted
one.
ending, the amount the I have to address it. One of the side plots of this movie was this girl was blackmailing Gru, and
Bad side plot.
her big plan is because she wants to get into this villain school, so she wants to steal the villain school's mascot, which is a honey badger. And at one point during the the planning trying to capture phase of this movie, Gru just literally goes, "Honey Badger don't care." And I'm like, does anyone who is actually watching this movie besides us, like anyone who the age demographic for this
Not
movie
gonna
is supposed to
understand
be,
that at
they're
all.
not gonna get that reference at all?
Not gonna get that joke.
Like that's a meme from like 2011. Like what the fuck?
It
I
wasn't even a
literally
good one back then.
I'm sure you even noticed. Like I literally like I was just like it hurt to hear him say
Bro,
that.
the people in the back row noticed. You fucking did a big Charlie Brown in the middle of the theater.
But
All
no,
right. Well, I think we've had enough of this travesty, have we? Not travesty the
yeah,
movie, travesty this review.
yeah.
This has been all over the place.
uh,
Let's
moving on to the
collect
rankings.
ourselves and listen over to the rankings then.
Uh,
I'll go first.
oh, go ahead.
I'm declaring myself the one who's first. Get in line. Uh, I'm sorry. Yeah, just like a Kung Fu Panda, Despicable Me 4, yeah, it sure is. 4 out of 10. It's a higher 4 than Kung Fu Panda was. Kung Fu Panda is a really low 4, but this is like a 4.8, 4.9. It's okay, it's serviceable, but it's not really doing anything at all.
That's fair.
Like if it stopped with the last one, nobody really even saw the last one.
I thought it would have been a good ending. Like the third one would have been kind of a fun thing because like you could have had that imagination of them just kind of chasing his brother around the world, and that's what they do now.
Yeah,
That's kind
could
of
have done
cool.
that. Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
me, I'm gonna give this movie a 5. It's a low 5 for sure, but like it was just kind of a meh. Like it wasn't much. I
yeah.
don't think the points against it brought it low enough to make it a 4 because this was definitely better than Kung Fu Panda 4 by like
Oh yeah,
quite
definitely. But
quite a large margin. So
yeah. I mean,
but yeah,
if I had to pick a Despicable Me movie to watch, it wouldn't be this
it
one.
wouldn't be this
I'm
one.
just saying. I'm just saying.
So yeah,
All right.
I believe that's all that we have on that one.
All right. We are now moving on to our next movie here. We are taking a look at Maxxxine. Take it away, Isaac.
So Maxxine is the third installment in the X franchise trilogy. And it is in the 1980s Hollywood. Adult film star and aspiring actress Maxine Minx finally gets her big break. However, as a mysterious killer stalks the starlets of Los Angeles, a trail of blood threatens to reveal her sinister past.
Yeah,
Without giving away
kinda.
like with it saying no, that's true because like without
Yeah.
revealing like the reveal or the twist of this movie is kind of really all the movie has
It
outside
really
of that.
does. It
But
really
like
does.
so like the bulk of the movie, yeah, that's what that is. That is a true statement. Well, not even, honestly. Now that I think about it. Yeah, you have
Yeah.
the Night Stalker, but he's really more of a background character to this
That's
movie.
that's what my complaint is. Most of the movie gets taken up by the private detective going after her and also her trying to be famous. Private detective going after her kind of interesting, but
Yeah.
like
I
her
mean, it's played by
doing
Kevin Bacon.
I mean, that doesn't really mean anything anymore.
I like Kevin Bacon.
Well, he was better in like the 80s, but now he's just like, "Hey, it's me, Kevin Bacon. Come see this movie
Hey,
cuz
I
I,
liked
Kevin Bacon,
R.I.P.D.,
am in this
okay?
movie." Well, that's not my problem. Yeah. Um, but like all the stuff about her trying to be famous and her working on the movie and like that was actually nothing. Like
Yeah.
it was super
Um,
boring those bits and like that took up like a whole third of the movie.
it really did. I mean, I only watched the recap and like the what do you call it? Like the synopsis, kill count.
Yeah. The dead meat
Shout
kill
out Dead
count
Meat.
for
Yeah,
X.
shout out Dead Meat. Yeah, because you had me watch that before we went and saw this because I hadn't watched it. We did watch Pearl, which is the
Yeah. We
second.
watched Pearl, I watched X.
So I don't know. Is this a complete disconnect for the character?
What do you mean?
Like, is the personality she has in this movie still relatively the kind of one she has in X? Because, like, in case no one knows, Maxine Minx is the main character of the movie X.
Yeah, it's the same, like
So,
exactly.
okay, all right. Well, I didn't know because like all I knew about
She was
X
a
is that she's
porn
a porn
star in
star.
the first one.
Well, that's what it is. Like she still seems to be a like she is like she's like is it just that she's trying to get famous? Is that her whole thing in the first one?
Yeah, because she was going off that whole thing of like, I won't accept the life I do not deserve.
Right, right,
Like
right,
that
right,
was the
right,
whole
right.
thing. That was her slogan in the first movie, slogan in the movie
Yeah.
here.
So I do have to give before we get into the negatives of which there are not a lot, but like I don't want to say negatives, but like the downsides for this movie. Um, but I do want to bring up the good stuff about it. First off, the effects in this movie spot on. Like there's the guys that
Yeah,
make these movies are killing it with
yeah.
their
The
with
gore,
their with
the
their
gore was
their
really
gore
good.
effects. Like
It
the
was,
scene where the scene like the first big gore scene we get in this movie, she stomps her heel through a dude's ball sack.
yeah. That
Like,
that didn't even feel great watching it.
yeah, no. And it looks like, damn, like that man ain't gonna have kids. Like,
Yeah, yeah. I guess not.
no, it hurt to like me like me and you simultaneously went, oh, like it was
And
bad.
well, that's kind of exactly what they wanted. Was
Well,
for
true.
all the guys to feel that.
But now that that's out of the way.
That's it.
Uh
That was it.
well, I wanted to bring that up, but like the gore was really was really the selling point. Like if
Yeah.
you were to tell someone, if I were to recommend someone to watch this movie, I would recommend them to watch it for the gore, like for the
Yeah.
effects.
In all
Cuz
honesty, it is kind of lacking in all other
yeah,
points. It's like
the
attention draw. Not really. I found myself getting kind of bored through a lot of the movie.
I was lost a couple times too.
Yeah,
And even worse being like you saw the twist coming half an hour into the movie.
yeah. And you
Like
didn't even watch the movie. Like
like
I needed the refresher because I'd watch X like the year it came out, so it's been a hot minute. And like even after that, like I watched the first movie, I got a little refresher right before we went in, and then I immediately guessed who the fucking Night Stalker was, and I was just like, man, it's gonna be this character, isn't it? And then it was, and I was like,
yeah, the movie was kind of an L by the end of it, a little bit.
yeah,
Like I was expecting some cool stuff because that's the other disappointing thing. They bill this movie as like, ooh, there's a stalker in Hollywood
hmm
killing people, and like she's like, I can handle myself, and I'm sitting here like, oh, so this is gonna be like, stalker's gonna latch onto her and like start trying to get to her and stuff like that, and it's like all he really does is kind of kill some people that are like egg. Like, there's only really one person that I could think of that was actually like meaningfully attached to her.
the black guy who
Yeah,
runs the
like that was
store. Yeah,
like, it's like one of them was just this chick that worked at the same like that worked at the
she
same
worked at the
strip
same
joint.
strip club as her. Some chick she just met on set. Some other chick that worked at the strip club. And like literally the cops asked her, she's like, they're like, what do you know about these murders? And she's like, I don't care. Like, okay.
No, like that was the worst part. Is she? It wasn't even that she said she didn't care. It's just she said I don't want to talk to you. That was her whole thing. I don't want to talk to you. Like
Which
she just kept
if
actively
there's a
not talking to
guy
the cops.
if there's a guy killing like people from your work, like people you know, there's a pretty damn good chance he might come for you next. So you might want to, I don't know, give the police any information so they can stop him. Duh.
Yeah, like
Which
even the whole threat of like
Which I
people
hang on, I
finding
didn't
out.
even
Go ahead.
consider it until just right now, but her not like for some like God knows why reason not talking to the police. Like a lot of those murders can be like her fault
Mhm.
because
The
like she could have just gave them information, helped them with the thing. Like they're just like we got to make sure that the next people don't die.
It's honestly
And she's like,
crazy because
"Oh, fuck you."
it's honestly crazy because her motivation for not going to the cops is that like
Unclear.
the dude like the uh the private detective dude is like, I know what you did. Like referring to the fact that she killed Pearl in X. Like he's like, I know what you did kind of thing. And it's like her whole motivation through the movie is tied to that. Like it's either I'm not gonna tell the cops about this private detective guy because he's got information that he can use to get to me, or it's I'm not gonna talk to you because I can handle myself. Hashtag girl boss. Like what the fuck?
That was a lot in this movie. I saw somebody online say that this was gonna be like the Joker, but for women, and I'm like, I really don't think so. But then, like, watching the movie, you can kind of see they were trying to do that angle, but it
Yeah,
wasn't even like interesting. It's like they didn't give the killer like any time to really flush out any. Like, the kills that he did were over so quick, you didn't even, like, see him do it. Like, they were just like, these girls are like, "Hey, we're going to a party," and then, like, the next day, their bodies are just in the lake, and they're just like, "Okay." And then you get maybe, like, a full 2 minutes combined with him or his, like, gloved hands on screen
yeah,
before they get to the reveal part at the end, and I'm just like, they really don't care about this guy. They did the Kevin Bacon detective, like, as the main antagonist, actually, and then they were just like, "Shit, we forgot the real bad guy. Go,
and like
just
you
do
could
everything. All the
you
exposition, all the plots, right, go, everything, go. Fuck, we ran out of
and they
time."
disguised that as it's the twist. No,
It's not the
we
twist.
like it was so immediately obvious so early in this movie.
Did you
Like,
guess?
yeah, I absolutely guessed it because
And
I
you
was
didn't
sitting
even
there.
watch it! It was a
I'm like,
character you
oh,
didn't
it's
even know!
no, yeah. I'm literally sitting here and I'm like, it's definitely it's definitely going to be this, and it was.
I think,
And I'm sitting there
yeah.
and it's like because every single thing points to this because like they're talking about how her friend like all her friends who died besides like the black dude. Like they were like, oh, before they died, they're like, oh, I got invited to this party out at this place in the hills
Well, it's
or wherever it
probably
was. And then
whoever's at
and then
that place in the
she's literally
hills.
the private detective is like, hey, I represent this person and they want you to show up here. And I'm like, I can connect those dots. Like it was super obvious, literally everything in this movie.
Yeah,
Like it was
the
it it did
mystery
not
aspect was not very strong here.
this movie you had a way of putting it after we left the theater that I liked.
Do you remember what it was? Because I do not.
You said that this movie was a spicy nothing burger.
Yes. Yes. It was a very bland, like, nothing movie, but it had, like, kind of spice to it. Like, the gore was really good, and, like, the kills were really good, and, like, I mean, the
Mia
acting, they
Goth
played the bro said
was
Mia
hot.
Goth.
Mia Goth was hot.
Isaac, put your dick back in the pants, okay? Tuck it into the waistband. We are reviewing this goddamn movie. You freak. Anyways, it's not does not have a lot going on for it. There's not a whole lot of like overtly positive things to say about it or really overtly negative things to say about it. It just kind of exists, and then it's got little tiny specks and flakes of things that are good. Like the gore bits were
Yeah.
very good. The acting, like they played their roles very well. They weren't very
It's like a
interesting.
bland burger that someone put like 7 red pepper flakes on.
Yeah. It's like if you put hot sauce on just white bread.
Yeah,
It's just like,
that'll work.
this is nothing. But my mouth is on fire.
Yeah. It was like
Flavor
the
without
X
substance,
trilogy.
if you will.
Yeah. The X trilogy, don't get me wrong, like this is a decent closeout to the trilogy.
Yeah. I thought the
actually quite
first
liked
movie
it.
was good. I liked Pearl.
And this was a good like round off of it.
Yeah.
I think it was a pretty good one. I don't really have
think-
anything else to say about this movie, really.
Do you want to roll into the spoiler territory of who the Night Stalker was and then give our criticism on that?
I mean, honestly, I was thinking about just leaving it, honestly, because that is literally all anyone has to like look forward to watch this movie. And I kind of don't want to take that away from anyone that would watch this.
All right. Well, then
So
in
if
that
you want to
case,
find out who it is,
without
like,
spoiling it for you, I'll just leave you with this last sentence. Of course, they would fucking do that. I
yeah,
would not put it past them. Of course they did. Of course that's
Yeah,
who
they
the
did.
bad guy is. And of course that's why.
yeah. Like,
Even though it doesn't make sense
it makes
in the
absolutely zero
context.
sense. It made no
Doesn't make
sense.
any sense at all, but of course they would
I
do
honestly forgot about this. I actually forgot about that part of it because the movie was
that
such a
aspect,
nothing
yeah.
burger. The actual interesting
You
part of it, I totally forgot about.
You forgot. Okay.
I forgot that was the motivation behind the person. Yeah,
The
no, yeah, of
motivation
course.
was literally the dumbest smooth brain motivation of all time. It's so
and it was
bad.
such a flawed motivation
It's
too.
such a flawed motivation.
See, here's the thing: is that they were like, I'm really hoping that the way it came off is the way that they meant it to, and that they just seemed delusional, like they were an actually mentally ill person and not an actual
Well,
like representation of this in real life. Kind of thing.
it's
If you get what I'm saying,
not okay, but like
yeah, it's not.
if you follow the logic of the serial killers
Yeah,
logic there, it doesn't add up, doesn't make
doesn't
sense
at
at
all.
all. So the only like real life logical possibility there is that he's just crazy.
Yeah,
He was
like, it's the
literally
only,
insane, a madman. Which I
Mhm.
mean, to kill a bunch of fucking people like that, you kind of have to be. But like,
Yeah,
bro's off the beaten path, you know.
exactly. But yeah,
All
without
right.
spoiling that at all, with moving into with all that, let's move into the rankings.
Yeah. Uh,
I'll start us off. I'm gonna give this movie. I'm gonna give it a 5. Originally I was gonna give it a 6, but I just realized that yeah, I'm gonna give it a 5. I'll give this movie. It's a high 5, but it's a 5. I originally was going to give this, but I realized just how much I had to say about it.
your audio
And so,
spiked. That was terrible.
oh,
Sorry,
sorry, I
everybody.
apologize.
Sorry, everybody.
But yeah, I'm
He
gonna
does that
give
in real life too. His voice just does that. That wasn't the microphone.
my voice just spikes.
Yeah, you do that,
It-
and I like we'll be talking in the car, and I'll just be like, Isaac, try turning it off and turning it on again, bud. I fix it.
I got that. I got that thing where my voice lags for like half a second and then catches back up. It just happens in real life.
Again, like we could not be more psychically connected here because I also had this written down at a 6 out of 10, but thinking more and talking more, it's also just like a high 5 for me. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't break the 6 barrier. I think the way I placed it is that I looked at something else that was a low 6, and I said it was better than that. Oh yeah, The Strangers Chapter 1. I thought it was better than Strangers Chapter 1, but I forgot that I gave Strangers Chapter 1 an extra point just because it was The Strangers and I really liked The Strangers, but it was a 5
Yeah,
out of 10 movie.
yeah,
Um but yeah, high five then.
absolutely. So, without further ado, let's roll on into our anticipated movie
Yes.
of the summer, rolling into
Yes.
Longlegs. Boy Nicolas Cage. So,
Yes, sir.
FBI
Lead us off.
FBI agent FBI agent Lee Harker is assigned to an unsolved serial killer case that takes an unexpected turn, revealing evidence of the occult. Harker discovers a personal connection to the killer and must stop him before he strikes again.
Yeah. So I read that to you after we saw the trailer because the trailers give you like
Yes.
almost nothing. Okay,
Yes.
the first trailer gave you actually nothing. Second trailer
Yes.
gave you a little bit more that she was an FBI agent and
Mhm.
this guy
Mhm.
was there. Okay,
Yes.
like they're super vague with this and I think that played to their favor.
They did.
Because going into this kind of blind really worked for it
Yes.
because I had no idea what to expect storyline wise. I had no idea what
It's
to
best to
expect,
go into this movie blind.
what to do, you know? Like what kind of scares were they going to do? I thought the cold open that they started with and they was done very very well cuz like what they did,
Yes,
right?
it
They
was.
mess with the aspect ratios a lot, which I thought was
Yes.
brilliant. So it
Yes, they
starts
do.
off with like the 4:3 like an old box TV does,
Mhm.
and the little girl walks out and in the snow, and then you see Nicolas Cage, but he's from like this, right? Like he's just at
Yeah,
the
you
top,
you
like
you
just
don't even
under
see
his
his
nose, and he's
face.
just
You don't even see his
no,
face.
because
It's
he's
mostly under
talking,
his chin.
because he's talking to her, and you see his like just the top of his lips like that. So he's
Oh.
talking, and he's all creepy because they've been hiding his face in the trailers, right? So that you didn't want him to
Yeah.
look at him.
They hide it for
Um,
most of the movie too.
Yeah. So here on the camera. So he's like at this. He's like
Yeah.
talking like at this level. And then because of the aspect ratios and I thought this was really good, really clever what he did. He was just like,
Might want
"Oh,
to come
look at
back
me."
down, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your
So
mic's
he was
messing
like
up.
he was like, "Oh, look at me. I put my long legs on today," right? So I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
so that's how it connects." And then I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting because he's like preying on children." So he's like, so he's much taller than them. So he's like, "I put my long legs on today," and then he drops down into the screen, and you get like
And you
a
only see him for like a
crazy.
split second.
You only see his face for a split second, but he goes, "Ah!" and then like it got me. I'm gonna say it got me.
Yeah. They did a lot of prosthetic work for our boy
Oh
in this
yeah,
movie. And it
Nicolas
worked.
Cage, straight off the bat, bro. We got to talk about him first and
Dude
foremost
was
before we get into the movie.
phenomenal. He was at the man doesn't miss. And by when I say he doesn't miss, he
Well, he
never
misses.
he, he
He
always
never
understands
phones
the
it in.
assignment. He always understands the assignment.
Yeah.
He
Sometimes
will
his movies
never ever
miss.
half-ass. He will never ever half-ass a role, and I love that about him.
Exactly. Exactly. He puts 110% of himself into every single role, no matter how bad the movie is, no matter how small his role is. He gives it his all, and I respect him for that.
Bro screamed
He
testicle with everything he had.
he did scream testicle with everything he had in Prisoners of the Ghostland, and
Absolutely did. For
god
those of anyone who
damn.
may be new, for those of anyone who may be new to the channel, we are hard Nick Cage fans. Like we will
Hardcore
always
Nick
stand.
Cage heads. The Cage heads they
We
call us.
the Cage heads. We stand Nicolas Cage in this house.
Okay. Um yeah, anytime Nicolas Cage movie comes to theaters, We gotta go see it. Unfortunately, we missed out on Arcadian, but we got to have our minds blown with that fresh from home.
That movie was
But goddamn,
insane, actually.
man puts everything into every role. I don't know if you were here when we saw the other ad for it after the movie came out, Isaac. But there
You
was
mean
an
Longlegs?
yeah, for Longlegs, there
Or
was another ad that came out.
I haven't
Um,
seen any other trailer besides the one that's been playing in theaters.
okay, so the bit where the main girl goes into the interrogation room with
Hmm?
him, that was her first time seeing Nicolas Cage in makeup and in character.
Really?
Yeah, so that was her genuine reaction, and they recorded her heart rate during that interaction there. Her
Yeah.
resting heart rate is 76 beats per minute.
Yeah.
In that room with Nicolas Cage, it went to 170.
Yeah, dude. Oh my gosh. It's why I love him so much, because he is such an A tier actor. But the thing I love about Nicolas Cage is that he will always just do what, like, he's an A tier actor, and but some people will call it a fall from grace. Because he used to be in huge, like, National Treasure, all those, like, he's got a big he was a big household name. He still is, but, like, the stuff he's doing in recent years are all really, like, under the wire. You know, the biggest thing he's done, this and Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent are the two most advertised things he's been in years.
True.
I mean, Dream
As like
Scenario, I
the
guess, what was advertised a bit, but
I don't know. Not as much. That one went
no.
under the radar too. A lot of people like that one. I've come to realize that we're in the minority that we didn't like Dream Scenario. We really liked the premise and we really liked the beginning and middle of the movie, but when they
Yeah.
switched over to the end and they were just like, "Oh no, we found out that he can just do that." And he like it's just a thing we can do and he just found it first. So now we use it to sell you Yeezys in your dreams.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about actually in real life even? And
That was
we
really
were just
dumb.
so disappointed with the ending and we didn't get any explanation really. But anyways, this movie, moving on. I thought that the plan, okay, not like the if that makes any sense, like what they were doing,
Yes.
Nicolas Cage and his scheme. I thought that was really interesting. You don't
Mhm.
really see anything quite that way before because you've had
No.
like serial killers doing just their kill whatever. So this had like an
Yeah.
interesting take on it. I really like that.
Yes.
The they they did a good job with the satanic aspect of it because it wasn't like
Did.
overtly offensively satanic. It was just like, oh, he's in league with the devil and doing killings and he's evil. And
Yeah,
when
because normally,
they did the in the background, they had this shadowy long-horned figure. And I think we each noticed it like 2 or 3 times, but as we were comparing it after the movie, there were like 2 or 3 separate times. Like you noticed 2 times, I didn't, and I noticed like 2 times you didn't. And
yeah,
it was just like, how many times has this figure actually been looming
I'm
back
very
there?
excited to. I'm like, very excited for this movie to come out on DVD because I actually want to
Oh
go
yeah,
through
we'll
it
be
again,
copping
and I
that
want
for
to.
sure. We'll be copping.
Uh,
That's
uh,
going on my
it's,
Nicolas Cage
I
shelf.
mean,
You know that.
it's a Nicolas Cage movie. You got to get it for the shelf.
Absolutely.
But
Sorry.
the that element was done very, very well. especially in conjunction with the main character.
Right. Right. I think the main character is probably actually one of the weakest parts of the movie
Oh,
because
she
she did a
is.
good job. She did a good job acting, I think.
Hmm.
I'm really unclear on what they were going for, okay? And once that gets
Yeah,
cleared up, it'll really shift focus to, oh, okay, this was really good, or okay,
I
like
need the
it wasn't worth it.
movie to come out so I can look at like the director commentary and
Commentary
stuff like that
and like
because I
them to
want to
come
know
out with
what they were going for because there was a lot of stuff because she's an FBI agent. There is stuff
right.
that she did that directly goes against like what she should be trained to do.
Well, even before that, like she's very like motionless and like unreactive to a lot of things
Hmm.
and like unempathetic and that so like so
Now
they
that could be in conjunct. That could be you
well
could
yeah
make the argument
that's
that that is.
that's what I'm saying.
Oh, sorry.
Is that because she's partially under the control of Longlegs, Satan, third
Hmm.
option? Like, is it
Yeah.
because she's got that kind of grip on her? Is why her soul is more suppressed or puppeted or something like that? That's why she acts that way, more nonchalant, emotionless, kind of like that, or is that's
Yeah.
just how is she normal and she's
Or
just
she
like
just
that?
autistic. Like,
Yeah.
like
Um.
it was really cool. I liked that they portrayed her like, as a very smart person. She actually was a very
Yeah,
smart
she was
person
smart.
to a
Kind
fault.
of.
She was smart to a fault. She was smart to a fault. Like book smart,
No, she
yes. Like
she was
book smart,
smart with very very detrimental exceptions.
yes. She has some quite
because
gaps
one
in that intelligence.
because one of the bits that like I criticize the most in this movie is when she's looking through like notes and stuff and then she hears a noise outside and she sees a figure. So she goes action mode, right? She grabs her gun and then she goes outside looking, where's he at? Where's he at? And then she turns around and she sees him moving inside her house. That's bad. So she goes inside the house, doesn't find him, but there's a letter to her from him on her desk where she was just working. Oh. Any normal, smart person working for the FBI who would be under this circumstance would then call that in immediately
Yes.
because we need to get this guy and he was right there in your house. His damn sweat is still on the table. And she doesn't. She
She
just sits
doesn't.
down
She
and
just
like
opens the
opens the
letter.
letter. She just sits down and
Did
opens
she
the
have
letter and
gloves
reads that.
on?
I'm like, no. So she's
That's what I'm
tampering
thinking.
the
Like
evidence.
I wanted to make. Yeah, she's tampering with
She's not calling
evidence.
it in. She's not calling for backup.
By the way,
And
she
in the
never
letter, it
reports
said
this at all at any point
never
during this
reports
movie.
it. Never reports it. Never asks for
She
backup.
uses the letter that he gives her to crack the
And then
code that he leaves behind at
when she
thing.
finds the letter, she just ignores that the man was in her house. I'm like, he's still here. He's either still in your house
Like you're just
or
sitting
like
there
10
looking at
feet
this now.
outside of it. He's in the area. Call it in. And
Go
she
after
doesn't.
him.
Go
Like
get
go
him.
find him.
Hello? But whatever.
Like
She
and the
uses a
crazy
thing, unscrambles his code, gets the whatever. Fine. And
but
then
like I find it funny because like they ask her like how'd you come up with this? She's just like
she's like,
art. Where'd this come from?
use it.
Freaking yeah.
Use the old thinker. The little
Uh, d-
noggin.
Bazinga. Like
Bazinga. Hey, they get a B on that math test. I'm saying.
But like a B for Bazinga.
Yeah. B for
Anyway,
Bzinga, got him.
I but no, this movie hit me a lot when when we watched it.
Mhm.
Like experiencing it, it was good. It was a good movie experience, and the movie was
Oh my
like done
god. The
really decently.
atmosphere of it
Yeah.
and the tone and delivery execution was all beautifully done.
When
'Cause
you
you
add
felt
in
extremely
yeah.
on edge the whole movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I did I did I didn't see it like, "Oh, this is absolutely what's going to happen," but, like, I had an inkling, like a theory
Yeah.
about like, about something, and that theory did end up being correct.
Yeah,
Uh,
this wasn't like Maxine where you're just like, "It's fucking this guy, we know that." But, like, this one, it was like, "Okay, so it's either this person, or
yeah, like, it's
that
this,
one," but I
this, or
don't
that
think
th
it's that one,
it's
so it's
either this,
probably either
that, or
these
the other
2.
thing.
Like, I had 2 main guesses that both would have made sense, and then I had one guess that's like it's like, okay, in case they want you to think it's one of these 2, and then they subvert you so that it's the 3rd one, that's what my 3rd one guess is gonna be.
Yeah.
And so, like, they kinda had you playing, so
They
you were kinda like,
they
"Oh,"
kept
so,
it
like, if you
hidden well
got it, you
enough,
were like,
though.
"Ah, I was right," and if you didn't get it, you were like, "Oh, what?" It wasn't, like, blatantly obvious, it was
Yeah.
just like, "Oh, you
There's
felt smart for
still
figuring out, not
a
it was
lot of
blatantly obvious."
vague there's still a lot
Oh,
of
yeah,
vague about
very,
this movie. I don't know,
very
did you ever
vague.
end up getting a chance to do your research that you wanted to do before we filmed this?
Not
Or
yet, I wanted to talk about, like, our raw opinions just straight off the movie itself before, like, watching any Actually videos about it, so then we're just
okay.
like, "Oh, I know all the answers." It's like, "No, I know them because that guy told me everything about the
Yeah,
movie and
oh.
what it means." So, we're talking about our thoughts, our ideas, our inflections, what we
Mhm.
thought, what we thought, and just, our preliminary experience before we start looking deeper into it. Um, they they did a lot of other stuff that I want to talk about, but it's all after
Well,
the
spoiler
plot,
territory.
the
So
spoiler thing. Do we want
so
to start
let's
spoiler territory and get into that?
I'm trying to think of anything else. Not really. Yeah, no, I can't think of anything else besides like spoiler. So, spoiler warning. I haven't made the sign yet, but I will. Uh there's spoiler warning. Or
Yeah,
write it on my hand and put it like just right here.
get that
I'll
tattooed
have
on
to
there.
write yeah, there you go. Spoiler warning. But
Yeah, with the amount the amount of times that you drop spoilers in real life, you might as well just get that on your hand. We're just like, hey, real quick.
real quick, all right, continue. But yeah. So before we get into the satanic aspect of this, I wanted to talk about the pattern like the serial killer side, but without the satanic part. I thought
Yeah,
it was really cool that they noticed like it was a like the pattern was that they were killing people on like they were only killing people who were born. I believe it was they were born on the 14th, or they were only killing people on the 14th
yeah. Who were
of a
born on the
month.
14th, and then they were killed in w- the days of that week leading up to that day.
Yeah,
So, like,
but the
around
days
that
themselves,
day.
like when they plotted them out, it created this like diamond structure type thing. Like it was
It
kind of
it
cool.
it created the seal of Satan is what it was.
Yeah, it was it was a very interesting like way of doing it. And
Mhm.
like the whole movie, they're talking about like, oh, there's one missing. who could it be? And they're trying to make it seem like, oh, it's this girl, or no, it was, we think it's this one, and then it was like, oh no, it's me.
Yeah.
And then it's like, but then it was like, no, it's this. Like they
So
changed that like 3 times.
yeah. So now that we're in spoiler warning, I'll break down the general synopsis of the twist here. So, last chance here. This is just context for our criticism. So, we'll tell you what the spoiler is. Step 1, what Longlegs is doing is that he's making dolls that look like the kids. And inside the dolls, there's a black ball which has, like, Satan in it, I think. And
Yeah.
so when he will say, "Oh, we're from the church. We have a gift for you. Congratulations." And they give the daughter a doll or the son a doll or whatever. And then that doll, the Satan orb inside the head of the doll will leak its influence into the parents and cause the parents to kill everyone else in the family. So it's revealed that the main character, when she was a kid, she was visited by Longlegs and given a doll like that. And the mother, in exchange for protecting the daughter and keeping her alive, agreed to team up with Longlegs to do these giveaways, these dolls, these killings, to keep that going, to keep her daughter safe. And at the end of the movie, after Nicolas Cage kills himself in the interrogation room, which that was done phenomenally. If we could take a pit stop right there and talk about
Yes.
that. The makeup was on point. His
That
prosthetics
was
looked
very
great.
done.
He looked perfectly ghastly. And then he just bashes his face
Haunting in this movie.
repeatedly into the table until he died. And
If
his
you did
nose...
not know that was Nicolas Cage, you would not be able to tell that that's Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. He looks like a straight out of like Goosebumps monster there. But
Yeah.
his entire nose is shredded off his face, and like his just like patches of skin just shredded and destroyed, and he's just soaked in blood.
Mhm.
The effects, the makeup, his acting, that scene is phenomenally perfect. I will say
It
that is a
is. It's so
great,
good.
fantastic scene. Probably the best scene in the movie.
It is,
Moving
in my
on.
opinion.
Yeah. So, after he's dead, the mom takes the last doll and gives it to like the police commissioner's daughter. And here's where the ending of the movie comes in, and again more criticism on this lady here. So
The
she walks
FBI
in,
lady.
the FBI lady. She was invited to this birthday party because the daughter likes her, and so on. So she was there. She comes in. The parents are acting weird. The daughter is like hugging the doll, and her mom, dressed up as a nun, is sitting on the other couch. And they're all like, and the mom's they're under like a trance or something because remember the Satan ball in the doll's brain,
Mhm.
is controlling them kind of. And the mom's just like, "Oh, you're too late to stop it. They're gonna die. They have to die. They're going to die." And so she's standing there, the FBI lady. She's got a gun. First of all, it's in her hand.
Yep.
It's here, and you hold it like this. And when you do this, things stop moving.
Mhm.
I don't
If it
know if
moves, it
she
doesn't.
knew that. I don't know if she knew that, but I knew that, and you knew that, and I'm willing to bet most people in the audience knew that. So the
Yes.
dad, the police commissioner, or whatever his role was, um, under this trance is just like, "Honey," talking to his wife, "Honey, I think it's time we go into the kitchen and cut the cake." And his wife is like, "Aha, we'll be right back." And he goes, You won't. He just like literally
He goes,
spells
"No,
it out
you
in front
won't."
of her. He's like, "No, you won't. I will. You will not. You will not be back."
Well, what's even crazier is
Like
like
he
she
literally
tries
says,
to like do something. Like there's a moment where she tries to say something, and then there's just like you could see her panic for a moment, kind of thing, or something, and then she just gets up and just goes and does it.
and then they go into the kitchen, and the dad stabs the wife multiple
Mhm.
times, and she's dead. And then he comes back, and he's gonna stab the daughter or whoever else is in the room, her as well. And only then does she realize, oh, gun, and then shoots him in the arm, shoots him in the chest, and then shoots him again, and then shoots her mom. And then she's like, "Come on, girl, let's get out of here." Takes the little girl, and then she points a gun at the doll with the Satan ball in the head, remember? And then tries to shoot it, and then out of ammo. Tisk,
Mhm.
tisk, tisk. Damn, if only you had used, the thing that's in your head, and you had just shot the... Like, first of all, you could have shot the dad before he,
Murdered his wife.
told you explicitly that he was gonna go into the kitchen and kill his wife.
Mm-hmm.
You could have shot him before that. Or, better scenario, you could have just shot the doll straight up, since A, the demon ball is in the head, and that's what's controlling them.
And she
And
literally
B,
saw someone shoot a different doll in the head already in this movie.
yes,
She already saw them
she
do that.
knows that it's in there, she knows that the doll is controlling them, and she just let everyone sit there and monologue for 4 minutes. I'm like, how did you get hired in this position? What? Because in the beginning she's
Yeah.
like, her doll still exists, so she's kind of got like some connection to Satan or Longlegs or whatever in her brain. So
Yeah.
she's gets like feelings like the killer's in that house. So I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, so it's not like, oh, you're not the most qualified, but god darn, you got the psychic ability. So whether you're qualified or not, we need you on this team. So I was like, okay, so
Exactly.
it's like that. It's like that. So it's like, okay, I get it. That makes sense. Makes sense.
Mhm.
And but that really for having some kind of psychic ability, she's really, really shit at making decisions or knowing things after the fact, because she really, really botched that ending. Really botched that ending.
Yeah.
She could have just shot the
I
doll and then broken the trance thing and be like, hey, she's the
stop it.
accomplice. She's the accomplice. Go arrest her.
She could have
But
just
I mean,
shot the
again,
ball and been like, "Stop, Satan! Stop!" And, like batting
stop.
it away.
And I get that's kind of an empty criticism, because that's bringing a realism to this. It's like,
Yes.
that would be the sensible, real thing to do. And I'm like, okay, but if
Mhm.
the movie did that, it would kind of be lame. But it's a
It
movie,
would
so
be lame.
you gotta have that kind of... Well, actually, it wouldn't have been lame. Actually, I'm backpedaling on that. If she had walked in and just like
Like
she
coldly
could have...
shot the doll.
Yeah, if she had walked in, done the little nagging thing, and before he takes the wife into the kitchen, she shoots the knife out of his hand, like disarming him at the very least, shooting his hand, um, and then shot the doll, and then it would have been endgame for them. Like you would have the,
Yeah.
oh, she did it, everyone's safe. But now it's got that air, like why are you just standing there and letting this happen? Because she's
Also,
free under any other control at this point.
so here's the fun thing.
So what?
If we're bringing a little bit of realism into this,
Yeah.
she's 100% the number one suspect now.
Yeah.
Like a
Yeah, she
thousand
is.
percent the number one.
Yeah, she
Like
is.
she can explain it, and like I'm sure evidence will do it. But like your partner is you murdered, like you killed two people in this room.
Well,
This
okay.
girl
Here's the
saw you
thing.
do it.
here's the thing. I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm gonna interrupt because there's clarity here. She shot the guy, the dad. There's ballistics can tell that she shot him, right? But his fingerprints are on the knife that was used to kill his wife. So there's
She's cleared on that
explanation
one.
there. She's cleared on that one. The puppets and all that other stuff, like the workshop and Longlegs' fingerprints all over her mom's basement. She also killed her mom. So they go to her mom's house, they find all the evidence they need there. Again,
True,
she's
okay.
clear.
Well, it's one of those like things where, like, for a moment, it strains credulity because
Yeah.
both of the main people that she worked with on this case are now dead. Which that was
Yes.
another scene. Holy shit!
Yes.
Let's talk about that one because that was really really good. Because they
Oh yeah,
realized
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
her mom might be in on it. Kind of. Well, it's not even that her mom might be in on it. It's she realizes that her mom might know more than she's saying. Because like, oh, I
Hmm.
saw him as a kid. I here's a picture of him. Like, I'm gonna go see. I'm gonna go talk to my mom, see if she remembers anything of that day. And while she's in the house, like her mom freaking like the Blair Witch shows up in the like behind the car and points a gun at the officer in the car and just point blank range shoots a shotgun in at her head and just
Just com-
splatters the inside
it
of that fucking cop
completely
car.
paints that window.
Like
Comes
it
out of
was
the house
such
and
a
just
good
sees that the
shot.
whole windshield is red, and she's just like, "Oh."
Yeah, like it was. This movie
It's
had
gonna
a
be a
lot of
tough
really.
case, but there's
When the
there's enough
movie
evidence to
hits,
clear
it
a name.
hits.
Yeah.
When the movie hits,
I
it hits. It left me with a little vague stuff, and a lot of the emotions I had leaving the movie were more of just like the ability to finally exhale.
yeah. So,
Because that was one thing that Nicolas Cage still did a phenomenal job of in this movie. I was consistently uncomfortable when he was on screen.
oh
Whether
yeah.
you could see his
He
face
was
or not,
fantastic.
like I was extremely uncomfortable with a lot of this movie. So, like, it was done very well in that aspect. But when we get into more like story wise and motivations and things like that, until I learn more, a little confusing and had me lost at times.
Mhm. I'm torn. This will probably be the last point, and then we can move on to the
Yeah.
rankings. But I'm torn on the ending just a little bit,
Mhm.
because I have a positive and a negative about it. So in like the last 20 minutes, like
Mhm.
after the doll for the FBI lady gets destroyed and she's freed from that influence, they
Mhm.
do a pretty much rundown of exposition of what Longlegs is doing, how he's doing it, what the plan is, how she got mixed up into it, how the mom got mixed up into it, why the mom's been helping her, how she's been helping, and just like they lay out everything for you right there, which I don't like in the aspect of they had this kind of like mysterious era of what's really going on here, and then they just like exposition dump, and it feels a little clunky, but also it's information that helps you put together the things. It really helps you along, and I really hate it when they don't do that, like in Dream Scenario, where they just kind of just throw any explanation away, and they're just kind of like, yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like I'm glad that I
That's
got explanations because it grounds you more in the story. It's like, okay, I'm following now. I get what's happening now. But also at the same time, it is just a big exposition dump at the end. So I think there's a good give and take with that, but I don't completely hate it. All right. So I think we should move on to the rankings then.
absolutely. Why don't you
You
go
want to
ahead
go
and kick us
first?
off here?
Okay. Um so I think that this movie deserves like a pretty fair 7 out of 10. Okay. I really like the tone they set. I like the atmosphere of the movie. I like the air of mystery. I like the effects that they did. The aspect ratio they messed with. Nicolas Cage was phenomenal, but I'm really hung up on the actions and the reactions of the main character, and just a little bit of the clunkiness at the end and explaining all of this.
Hmm.
I think keeps it from being at like a 9 or 10. I
Mhm.
mean, again, atmosphere, setting, everything they got going on, like that is a 10, but like there's a lot of clunkiness in her character and the exposition and the Satan balls I
Mhm.
don't really get.
Yeah.
And
Um.
it's just some bits like that that keep it from
You know,
being fantastically great.
we are just like in sync today because I'm sitting here and I was thinking and I was like, cinematically, this movie is a masterpiece.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
really
they did
is.
a lot
Yeah,
of really cinematic stuff.
but I am also giving this movie a 7 because of those exact reasons where the acting and the story just weren't great. It was then again done beautifully. Like when we went and saw the Suicide Squad, like the newer the Suicide Squad movie,
Yeah,
that movie
the
like framing, cinematography, like literally everything
transitions,
about that.
titles.
All of that was gorgeous in the movie. It's just a lot of the decisions in the movie kind of like brought my rank down a little bit. But
Mhm,
like this it's the same thing here. This movie just it missed the mark story wise. I don't feel like it delivered exactly on what it was promising.
mhm.
Uh but it was still a good movie.
Yeah, it was a great movie. It's the best one on this list. It's the
Yeah, it
best one in the
is.
podcast today. I really wanna watch it again so I can analyze it, do an analysis watch. I'll be looking in the
Yes.
backgrounds. I'll be connecting plot points that I know ahead of time. It'll be a really interesting rewatch. Maybe that's something we could do. We can go back to the theater and watch it again.
Maybe.
Maybe. I think. All right. Well, that should wrap up this podcast here. Next time. You've all been waiting for it. You've all been seeing the trailers. Next time, we are taking a look at Deadpool and Wolverine and Twisters. Isaac and Alex, this is their first time seeing a movie in 4DX. We went down to Gurnee, Illinois to see this movie in 4DX, and it
Mm,
completely changed the way they watch movies now. It is
yes.
a fantastic experience. I'm glad you were there to
Mm.
experience that. But now you have a hard challenge. You have to give the movie an honest review separate
Mm.
from the 4DX experience.
Yeah, it's been difficult, but I will have it down by the time we record that podcast.
We'll
Yeah.
see. Anyways, guys, that will pretty much do it here. Be sure to subscribe. Once again, we're on our way to getting monetized. Please give us a hand there. Uh, Check out our letterboxd at Cinema Kellan and Regular Isaac to follow our other movie reviews. And until next time, guys, that's a wrap. Roll credits.